Hello and welcome. This is Donna. I am starting a new project. I am creating another ring bound journal, but it's different than last one I did. So let's just go through this one and I'll show you the example and then we'll get started. I have a large collection of vintage photographs and cabinet cards and things like that, but I also used in this Tim Holtz Found Relatives. So let's just start with this one, and it's neat when they actually have the date on the back, and this was a long photo, so I was able to cut part of it off and get the date, and I used a Tim Holtz framework on this one, and they are double-sided, and there's a little tuck in here. That's a Found Relative. I need to wipe that off a little. And just used scraps and ends of laces and trims from linens, all sorts of linens actually. I cut up a couple of vintage pillowcases, things like that. And then just laces that I had in my collection of sewing things. I really liked the framework around this. Some of the cabinet cards have the back on them, so I left that. There's another Tim Holtz frame and a picture. This one I put a envelope to make a pocket and sewed around this tag. I'm just layering and embellishing these. This was a great frame too, so I just wanted to embellish that one. And this is the back of this, with another pocket made out of lace and a stamp. So I've made a couple of these, and we are going to go over how I made the closures on the next video. But this needs one more, I don't really want to call it a signature, but it needs one more piece in it. These all have 5. So let me put that there, and I'll show you what I started with. So I started with one of my packs of cards, and I'm not really concerned about this because I'm going to cover it anyways. And depending on how big you want this one is a lot smaller than these, so what I did was I took one of these off. I did an approximate measuring and cut that out. And the size of this isn't as important as making sure your holes are lined up, which we will do as soon as we cover this. So just let me get one of these out here, have it handy so we can do that next. So the first thing I'm going to do is just glue this shut. Just going to go around. I'm going to use my bone folder to pull that glue to the edges. Next part is I'm going to cover this with some antique papers from a dictionary. And my other option of pushing the glue is to use a card and just pushing it to the end, so I know that I get the ends well covered with glue, so it'll stay. And it also helps smooth it out for me. Sure that was 2 pieces. Oh, we won't use the spiders, but let's use this. So just to save myself a little work, I'm gonna try to go close to the end. We are gonna trim these, but I just wanna go as close to the end as I can on that one. Okay, get that nice and smooth. Make sure that's down. It seems to be down on all the corners, okay? Do that again. move the camera. I apologize. Pushing that glue all around. This is a very brittle paper and it will tear easily, but I'm really not worried about it because we're going to distress this. Most of this really, it's going to be covered with so many pieces of lace that it doesn't really matter. Now the glue grabbed a hold of that brittle paper, so I will trim up the edges here and you won't even know. I can do that. If you have a paper press, you'd want to press this. I'm just taking some of this off right now so we don't have to fuss with it too much while we're getting this ready. Okay, let me find some scissors here. And I would normally let this dry, but just for demonstration purposes, let's get this cut. Close as we can. See, that stuck out a little, but no problem. If I have to cut the edge, I'm okay with that. You know, just taking maybe 1/4 of an inch of the paper with it. These are going to be covered, so I'm not worried too much. See if that wants to come off there a little. Okay, just get rid of this mess. This is when you would let it dry and put it in a paper press, or I have a big stack of books that I use, but right now we're just gonna distress it a little. By the time we're done embellishing, you're not going to see much of this at all. Actually, you probably won't see much. You probably won't see any of it. Okay, so this should be nice and flat. How I'm going to find my, I want to set up where the rings will go on to bind this. So I'm going to get as close as I can to measuring the length of this and the edge, which can be hard to see because this one's already embellished. What I'm going to do is go through the holes that are already here and just make a little circle. And let's see how close they look. Why does that look off? Huh. That looked a little off to me. Let's see. Let me do that again. Still close to that. I'm going to try to line it up a little better though. It's an approximate. You can measure. I'm just following this down like that. That's the important part, is to get your holes lined up. So as you can see, look at how nicely they're lined up, because if you don't get that lined up, then it's hard to open your book correctly. The size of the pages doesn't matter as much as this part right here. So I did use some of my distressed ink on my hole punch reinforcers, my paper reinforcers. So I'll just go ahead and put these down now, both sides. I've decided to use this cabinet card. Just take that off completely. I was thinking I would put just some embellishments on this part of it. Maybe here. Maybe we could go actually right down the center. And we're still going to decorate all the way around. You can use an envelope for a tuck. You really can use anything. So let's just start with this. I think I want this to hang over a little. Cut right there. Just go ahead and put some glue down to secure it. You can use Fabri-Tac. I just can't find mine right now. I'm in the middle of reorganizing my studio, and when I do, I want to do a reveal, a studio tour. Years ago, I used to have my studio in the basement, and I found that I never went down there. So I took over a bedroom, and I really like that so much better. Up here and frame better. I like that. What else can we do here? Let's look at some other trims. Sometimes I keep my trims on these cards, just cardboard cards, and just wind them around, so that's nice and convenient. Maybe I'll do this. I'm just doing a little layout right now to see what looks good, what I like. I don't have a date for him, but I could probably make something up and put it right there. We could guess what year this photo was taken. There, and then that piece could go probably over the top of that. So let's just do that. Let's go ahead and glue him down. And I am being generous about the glue here because I want this card to really stick. And he's going to be raised above the page a little. I think I'm going to center him because I'm going to be doing so much lace work all around. I could do this and really push down on that, and then of course I could do this. Nice and flat. Okay, so he's pretty much where I want him. Okay, so I know I'm going to put this down here. Go ahead and lay that there. The laces and the glue always want to stick to you and everything else. Let's go up here. If I get glue on the photo later on, I'll go back with just a little wet cloth and wipe it off. I do tend to get glue on the photos. And he's not quite set up yet on the back, but it will. If you build up your glue layers, it will set up. So there's that. for this piece, I'm gonna go ahead and dot my glue. I know this is such a mess, isn't it? I apologize. I will find my bottle with my fine tip as I continue to go through my mess. And we're just gonna press that down. Try not to mess with the laces too much. The glue will really hold. It will set up and hold. And just to make sure of that, let's go ahead and put a little bit right here. I need a little bit there. There. You can always use the back. I do have to wash this. Yeah. Told you I'm messy. Messy, messy. There we go. And that'll help hold that right there. Anchor this part down too. And I will do the same over here. I like the fact that that's kind of folded up right there, if you can see that. I'm okay with that. Let's see. This is pretty cool. I think I'll actually go right over that. I could lift this back a little. I could do that and put that under. So I'm gonna just put a line of glue right there. I'll start right there. Lift that up. There we go. And then push that back down. This normally takes a lot longer than what I'm showing you in the video because you want to wait for a little bit in between. But I'm just trying to get the demo going. There. And some laces glue really super quick and then some don't. I do want to cover this edge right here because this paper's coming up. And let's use that again because that does glue quite easily. And we're going to go all the way down the length of that on the other side of our holes. So I'm going to go right over the top of this. Get the glue right there. And there we go. That can come up. These fibers glue easily. Okay. Just going to be very careful as I turn it for you. Now, I could continue to frame him out a little. I think he needs it. So right very carefully on the edge. And I think I'll frame him this way. I'm gonna let that stay out. I'll tuck that under a little. Do you see what I mean? I'm just gonna let that one stay out a little. And it will adhere. It will grab it and adhere. We'll do the same thing on the other side. But maybe I'll shorten it a little. The paper keeps getting all over this. I need to wipe it off there. There we go. I'm going to just lift that just a slight bit and then come down there. So it's almost hiding under there. And I will come back after these are dry and stick just a little bit of glue. Well, actually I could probably tip it right now. My hand right there. So I just lifted it very gently. Stick it down, just lifted it. And there we go. Okay. Now we're gonna let this dry. I might add, oh, what do I have? I might add some of these bulb pins. I have something like that. I could add that up here or down here later, or just buttons, or maybe if I go through some old jewelry, I might find some cufflinks. I know that was a little earlier time than him, but I do like putting pieces of jewelry on things. I have a couple examples of that. Okay, so when this is dry and we feel good about it and it's even, which it looks a little crooked here, it's all set, we will then do the other side. And see, I just need to put something up here to cover that part. I could even do a collage. You can even do collage. This has collage on it and sewing around it. So you really just use your imagination. Just have a lot of fun with it. This is one that I started. I wanted to show you. That was a cabinet card that had all the information on the back, so I didn't want to cover that up. So maybe I'll put some journaling pages in here or something like that. So this is finally dry, and then I'll do this other side, and that creates the amount that we need, or actually maybe extra one, but that's okay. We can always start a new one. So I hope you enjoy this, and I thank you so much for spending your time with me. Have a great day. Bye.